You are on The Bert Show.
You know what I love about this version, this cast of The Bert Show right here, is that we all lose our ego at that studio door. When we all come in here, this cast right here, when we come in here, I think that we will all agree that we do what's best for the team. Do we all agree on that?
You always do what's best for the show.
Always do what's best for the team, right? Right?
Yes.
No ego? We always do what's best. Right. What gets us the highest ratings, what gets us paid.
I got mine beaten out of me in Raleigh.
All right, that said, Cassie, with guilty wishes.
Guilty wishes.
You don't need that many S's anymore.
It's an S for every place down in the rankings it is.
Am I reading the online ratings right
Nope.
that you sent me yesterday? I'm not,
We're
because...
worried you don't know how to read a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the way that it's set up because of what you sent me, or maybe it's just the way that it prints out for me. I've got Stream the Show was number 1. You got Kristen's update on her IVF journey yesterday. That was number 2.
Blah, blah, blah. Good content. Yes. That only lists like the top 5.
There was a lot riding on Davi's trip to see her estranged dad. That was up there. 2 of the women on the show are about to rock bigger boobs. Great tease, by the way.
Thank you.
Really great tease. Update, his wife won't stop hating on him. There's just one missing. Here's one.
Wow, we have a good show.
Mo and Walter have a problem. Then there's Match the Stupidity to the Bert Show member. That's up there. Then there's some e-buzzes also. Not one, and I know how to read a spreadsheet. None up there say anything about guilty wish safe.
It came in like 11th yesterday, so it wouldn't make that spreadsheet, but that's better than 17th. We moved up in the ratings.
It was like Walter and his typing test. You know, we went from 19, and it was just slowly.
I think we're going to have to make ourselves a decision on what's best for the show and the Bert Show listening family.
So listen, I had a chat with the showrunners, a.k.a. myself, and whenever a show
of guilty wishes.
Yes. Shonda was busy. She won't return my calls. Shonda rhymes. But whenever a TV show is down in the ratings, there are a couple of tricks we can employ to get you guys back invested.
You can move it to a different time slot, like Adam's show.
No. So I have a very special edition of Guilty Wishes with an extra new face in it.
So you're trying to freshen up the cast.
Freshening up the cast, but also...
Oh, it's a celebrity. When they always add like a celebrity, or if a family's like, let's have another baby.
Okay. This is a little family feudish with the Kardashians. Yeah, the ratings were probably good on it, but you get the West and the Kardashians and the Jenners and everybody up there, they're going to get a bump.
And especially for you, with your ADD World Cup watching self, I have made it an action-packed episode.
Yes. Okay.
I have taken the highlights from the rest of the book, and they are all in this one episode.
So it's ending today?
Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. We'll see how much you like it. I left out a few good juice. I was reading it, and I'm like, God, I want to include that. That's really good, too.
And then I think after all of the highlights, and this apparently is perhaps the big finale, then for those that love it, for both people that really love it, put the podcast up online and they can listen to it in its entirety.
That's like syndication and reruns. That's a whole separate deal. I'll talk to my agent.
Okay, so these are, you read through the entire thing again yesterday, and these are the highlights from chapter what to what.
And we were only on page 10 and there were 34. So it's like, it was really good. But these are the juiciest parts so you guys won't zone out.
Okay. What page were we on? 10 of how many?
10. But we were only reading like 2 paragraphs a day, okay?
Right, so 24.
Because you were
24 chapters.
You weren't even halfway through.
You were me, ratings, me. And I was like, I want to read the story, but you just want to talk about numbers.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Previously on Guilty Wishes.
6 main characters. Cece, Josh, they're dating. Linz and Randall, they're dating. Nick and Brian kidnapped Linz and Cece because they're in love with them. P.S. Nick's gun is not a gun, it's a squirt gun. Oh my God, it's actually a gun because Cece shot it. Brian also has a gun and he just shot Randall. That's where we are.
Right. Okay.
Now, the next chapter of Guilty Wishes.
Whoa! Hey, it might be the last one. I wanted to make it good.
I mean, that indoor skydiving.
Somebody slashed all the tires.
Everyone.
All the time.
We are with Linz and Randall, who just got shot at by Brian. Linz howled, "No!" Her words blending in with the whistling wind as Brian yanked the trigger back. Randall's face fell as Brian laughed with contempt. A small jet of water squirted out and hit Randall squarely in the chest.
So it wasn't even a bullet?
Raindrops started to patter as if signaled by the squirt gun's liquid expulsion.
Did you use the word liquid?
Yeah, I used the word liquid. Yes, I did.
What 13-year-old? Okay, go ahead.
The guns got mixed up. Whoa!
I'm just, this story's starting to piss me off because 13-year-old Cassie is way smarter than 30-plus-year-old me right now.
Randall spoke in hushed tones as lightning cracked overhead. "You obviously can't fire a gun, so let's go. Man to man, it's time for you to meet my fist."
What?
Randall said as he rushed at Brian.
It's a fight!
Randall shoved Brian directly in the stomach and swung out his left foot to trip him. Brian went down hard. Randall turned back to Linz just as Brian kicked out his right leg and sent Randall crashing to the floor.
Yes.
Randall raised the frying pan above his head.
Wait!
I told you it was the highlights from the
Frying pan come from?
above his head, preparing to bring it down sharply upon Brian's head.
Where did the frying pan come from?
It doesn't matter. You wanted to skip ahead. Just enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
You're right. I forgot. I don't care.
Randall pulled back from his kiss with Linz, lingering for a moment as he heard voices in the room. He looked up and saw Nick wave a gun at Josh. Nick grabbed Cece and held the gun to her. She screamed and struggled, kicking wildly. Nick pulled her into a headlock and held her tight. Her hands clawed at his arms, pulling at his tight grip. She laughed and caught her flailing arms with his other hand. He held a gun to her and pointing it at her. Cece still fought, sinking her teeth into his arm. Then she stopped fighting, her body going limp. She closed her eyes and pretended to faint. With Randall's help, Josh dragged the anchor off Cece and picked her up out of the water.
She was in the water?
I told you,
With the
you're
frying
getting the highlight reel. I picked her up out of the water, stabilizing her as her lungs drew in the much-needed oxygen. Randall ignored the knife and hurled a punch at Brian.
What? There's a knife?
Hitting him square in the nose. Brian flew back and the knife traveled through the air directly toward Randall's chest. Lynn screamed as Randall stood motionless, watching it with terror. Lynch jumped at Randall and pushed him down, the knife-sharp blade catching her in the arm, making a red gash down the top of it. She whimpered and pulled it out. She stood up and jammed it into the wall. Randall ducked and swung around, pushing Brian down. Brian's head struck the cabinet counter and he swooned, his eyes fluttering before he blacked out. Across the room, Nick's vicious punches made contact with Josh's chest as Cece kicked at Nick's legs. She kicked him in the crease of his leg, sending him crashing down. Nick turned and tripped Cece up. She fell and he held her down under the water.
Hold on 1 second. There's a free kick. Hold on.
Oh, I hate you.
Stop.
She flipped him over and aimed her hits at his face. He kicked her off and threw her against the wall, causing her to hit her head and slump down.
So many people are getting hit.
He forced her up, twisting her arm. The wound in her head had reopened, and the dark liquid dripped down the side of her face. He pushed her down to the black water with one hand, while the other grabbed her hair to stop her head from moving so she couldn't bite him again.
She's drowning!
Her face was mere inches from the wet grave.
Ahoy! They're on the horizon! A pirate ship!
Special guest! Celebrity guest!
What
It's
is
a pirate
What is
ship.
happening?
What's happening?
What is happening?
Just look on the horizon and shut up. And who is that at the wheel? Jack Sparrow? No, because that movie didn't come out until 2003, and the year is 1999, because Cassie is 13. And it is none other than the most terrifying villain to ever rule these seas, a sultry brunette broad with eyes as blue as indoor swimming pools.
There's the eyes again.
Yep.
Captain Dee Dee. The most beautiful, fabulous, and fashionable of all the sea wenches, and commands the merry men of the SS Bye Bye Bye.
Which is exactly where this story should go.
Yeah.
Captain Dee Dee looks into the distance and wrinkles her perfect nose and asks the question, Kevin, with your sexy Zorro-looking ass, who is that sad, boring ship in the distance? Her manservant Kevin runs to her side. He carefully tucks his long black locks as dark as night behind his ear. My queen, he says timidly.
Hold
Wait,
on,
what?
which one do you want? Do you want the regular bed or do you want the pirate thing?
Pirate ship.
Go for it.
Durr.
Okay.
Kevin says, my queen, he says timidly. It is a bunch of nobodies with bad ratings. Let us kidnap kidnap them. They're making all the aquatic life depressed, and you know how I hate that. The crew attacks the sad ship, taking only 2 survivors.
Oh, people are dying.
We had to kill Randall and Josh. They were douches, and you would have hated his ramen noodle hair, Kevin shouted. Yes, you only like manservants with long hair, Chris Kirkpatrick says proudly as he flips his beaded braids back and forth, and it makes a sound like this. Who are you people? Where are we? What's happening? The newcomers, Linz and Cece, frightfully scream. Look at me. Look at me. I am the captain now.
Yes!
I am the captain now. You belong to me. I am Captain Dee of the SSS. Bye, bye, bye. I am the commander of this ship, and I have been for many years. Yes, Kevin says. She found us stranded long ago. A beautiful maiden holding a fruit basket was our savior. She said, I'll cure your scurvy with my mouth hole and also these limes. So we worship her. Quiet, Kevin, Dee interrupted. These are my dirty papyrates. Dirty papyrates, you get it? If you wish to overthrow me, CC, I'm telling you right now, the winner, it's gonna be me. This I promise you. It's tearing up my heart that we had to kill your boyfriends, but they were super lame. And I have many manservants to choose from because I want it that way. And as long as you love me, you may have a manservant as well, CC, but not Kevin, he is mine. But you can't have Chris Kirkpatrick. Trust me, he is larger than life in the nether regions. Joey Fat One runs across the deck.
Fatone?
Okay.
Joey Fatone runs across the deck and screams, iceberg, right ahead! The ship hits it and sinks and they all die, except Dee, who holds Kevin tenderly before finally saying softly, I'm gonna let you go because we both can't fit on this door. And then she watched his sexy ass, Mascazoro looking ass sink into the sea. The end.
All right. So it's over, right?
They all died.
Good morning. Kelly, you were on the Bert Show. Hi.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
I am great, but I will give Bert's Big Adventure $50 if you never, ever do Guilty Wishes again.
Make it 100 and you're done.
I'll make it 100.
Yay!
It is official. Guilty Wishes is over, and we will take your $100.
Yeah, nobody tell her it
Hallelujah.
ended anyway.
You were way ahead of Sharknado. It was riveting. Really riveting.
It was fantastic. I hope you're all inspired. If you're 13, you too could write mediocre fan fiction.
You are on The Bert Show.